let's talk about the topic for today. My name is Lisa, an occupational therapist specialized in Padawan therapy, and I work with children with special needs. And every Wednesday at 7:30, sorry for the late today, but we had micro, camera, everything today. Normally we are connecting every Wednesday at 7:30 to talk about different topics. So the idea is to create this nice and safe and not usually relaxed environment where we can connect and chat and discuss. And in the past sessions, in the past videos, I really liked especially your intervention. So I really would like you to participate if you feel like. If not, just listen. If not, switch. But basically, let's start, okay? Because we are already a little bit late, and like I said, I want to take the maximum of time to go with the topic that I prepared for you for today. Today's topic is about sensory processing. Now, like I said before, as an occupational therapist, I work with children with special needs and with different ages. So that makes me extremely lucky, to gain all that experience and at the same time to have the opportunity to practice my job in different areas. As an occupational therapist, we do great work in different areas. We work with fine motor skills, gross motor skills, work with sensory, we work with children of different ages with different needs, we work on independent skills. We do work at school, at home, basically everywhere, no? We also work with adults, so it's not just kids, but my specialization is with children. And this every Wednesday, I always do like this little introduction. I'm sorry for taking the time, but just in case if this is your first time, every Wednesday I select a topic which honestly it will help if you write what are your questions, so I can answer you. I select a topic to talk a little bit about maybe different areas. And then see as well what you think about it and see if you agree, disagree, or if you have maybe questions. And today's topic is about sensory processing. So sensory processing is something that as a big whole, as a big system, it's within us, right? There is no like, you don't have. No, we all have sensory processing systems in plural because they are a lot. And mainly when we have children with autism or children with ADHD, I'm talking about children, but the same thing could be adults. We are having children who have maybe global developmental delay, which could explain the lack of sensory need. Sensory processing as a system in global will be affected in many areas, no? And most of the time will be affected. In which way? I'm going just to put a couple of examples, okay? Then if you feel like to write and to say, yes, this is my kid, this is not my kid, it's up to you. Often we will have children who has difficulties in the speech. There are difficulties with brushing teeth, toileting and showering. We will have children who has difficulties with combing hair. We will have difficulties, for example, messy play or cutting the hair, difficulties with feeding at the same time, but not feeding, chewing and actually eating, no, but more of tolerating new food, new textures, etc. Those first experiences, right? So let's say I'm just going to put an example. I have this crunchy bar, right? So it says crunchy oats and honey. They are super yummy, by the way, but so if I'm presenting this for the first time, we're going to have that, you can see in the face of your kid, like, what is this? I don't want even to try it. Even though after, it might be something that they really like and they might enjoy eating it. But at the beginning, it's going to be no way. So I find in my practice with my experience, okay, I'm talking about my experience, which I've been in the field for over 10 years now. More. No, I think 12 years now, yes. Anyway, I'm getting older. Okay, so if we are having children, who are having difficulties in speech difficulties. We will have children who will have also like sensory difficulties in this area, brushing the teeth, texture, messy play, or outside, in the playground. And at the same time also children who will be a little bit picky with zips, okay, so closing and opening the jacket, buttoning. Children who will be very picky at picking up things, so the pincer grip, it's not working, a little bit in this area. The most common is combing hair or cutting hair, brushing the teeth, and then messy play or veggies or fruit, for example. The child will not be able to touch any raw vegetable or fruit. So that's a little bit the examples, no? And I don't know, maybe you will say, no, my kid at all, it's anything of that. That's okay. Maybe somehow we are not having difficulties on those sensory areas, but perhaps in the future, in this conversation, you will find something that might be useful for you. Because like I said, sensory processing as a system includes a lot of systems inside, but sensory processing helps us to when these systems are working together, it helps us to be able to have the posture right, to be able to pay attention, to be able to maintain a conversation or follow a lesson in the class, etc., etc. Have good behavior. Sometimes you will have children who will be say, no, but my kid doesn't have any sensory difficulties, but you will have behavior issues, and you will not understand from where the behavior is coming. And many times it's coming because of non-understanding that actually the child is not tolerating maybe the sound where he is at school or at home, or maybe the child is not tolerating a smell, or maybe the child needs more proprioceptive input, etc., etc. So, like everything else, I'm just going to be mentioning, okay, we are going to have the tactile, the vestibular, the visual, the auditory area, we're going to have the proprioceptive area, we are going to have the interoceptive area, okay, what else we are getting? Smell, we didn't mention, and that's it. I said auditory, visual, and visual area could be, I didn't say. All right, so all these areas, all these systems are working together. Interoceptive, it's everything that has to be with our feelings, sensory feelings from inside. So Flor, thank you. Hi, Flor. Yes, oral sensory seeking and chew. I'm going to get there. Give me just few minutes and I will catch up fast in the oral sensory area. So when we talk about sensory processing, and we are talking about different sensory systems, like I said before, visual, proprioceptive, interoceptive, auditory, smell, tactile areas, oral sensory, for example, oral sensory processing, it's part of our sensory processing systems. Okay, so all these systems are working together in order for us to be organized and to be, to be organized in space and time, let's say like that. So that's mean that when I am working with my therapist, with my mom at school or in the playground with another kid, I'm capable to regulate all my emotions, all my sensory needs at the same time, and have a good response to it. So I am not over-responding or I am not under-responding. Now, the sensory processing works like that. When sometimes children will have too much information, they will be responding maybe in a different way, and sometimes you will have kids who will be exposed to way too many activities and way too much sensory exposure, but they are still not getting the input. Okay, so this is when we are going to talk about hyposensitive and hypersensitive. Okay, and this is where we have to do the difference, because this is sometimes when the parents will tell me, and this is the reason why we go to the playground and the kid will be 1 hour swinging and he is totally fine, right? Because maybe he is hyposensitive in the sense of in order for him to get the input, he needs to really be exposed for a big majority of time. And then you have the opposite. You have children who will be exposed to a small amount of input, no, and they will be reacting completely a meltdown, a huge tantrum, and you will be like, but what happened? I don't know what happened. No, so you have to be always checking this. The best way, how I always say to the parents, it's to do a sensory profile test, which is you can ask your occupational therapist to do it. I'm not sure you can do it online. I don't think so. Most of the time you have to check with your occupational therapist, and the sensory profile will tell you exactly how your child is doing, in all these areas. And it's very, very very interesting to know exactly if your child is hypo or hyper. So I'm just going to do a small resume. Hyposensitive, it's meaning that the child is receiving too little information. Hypersensitive, it's mean that the child is receiving way too much. For example, a child who will be, I will come back to my crunchy things. A child hypersensitive, if I bring and I show him this crunchy snack, hypersensitive, he will say no straight away, because it's too much, no? Visually, maybe I am hypersensitive, so with a little bit, with just this information is just too much for me, and I cannot even tolerate the fact to put it in my mouth and to chew, and I don't want even to know what I have to do. And on the opposite, on the contrary, you will have a child hyposensitive. I will put the crunchy thing inside of the mouth, I will do the chewing, and the child still will not get the chewing skills because he needs more exposure to the input. All right. So when you are working with children with special needs and there is a difficulty in sensory areas, I always suggest to take in consideration all these areas. We cannot be working on only one or two areas because everything is together. When the child is coming to my clinic, and we are working on stimulating the coordination, balancing, fine motor skills, gross motor skills, whatever, we always take in consideration all the areas. So if the child gets dizzy, if in the swings, if the child is receiving enough proprioception, if not, if the child is chewing, if the child is tolerating brushing teeth, all of that will give you a good information how is his or her sensory processing inputs are working, not the system, how they are working. Now, to answer Flor, so when we have oral sensory seekers, you have to define what is oral sensory seekers, because you will have children who chew on everything. So basically they will be putting a lot of things inside of the mouth. So anything that they find in the house or any toys, etc. So they will be constantly mouthing and having a lot of things inside of the mouth. Or at the same time, they will be, for example, eating the paste of the toothbrush. So if they are brushing the teeth, they have that need to eat the paste first of all, so they can manage what's going on inside of the mouth. In those cases, we have to expose a lot to chewing. So when you're asking oral sensory seeking and chewing, it goes together. So when you see a kid who is both hyper or hypo exposed to oral input, meaning no chewing at all or chewing too much, we still have to work on chewing. But you have to make sure how you're working on the chewing. So if the child is hyposensitive, meaning the child is not chewing at all, we have to work on chewing skills with chewy tubes. Or maybe start with small massages. We talk about it in the previous sessions. I invite you, if you are the first time that you are connecting on Wednesdays, I invite you to check the other videos that I did, and to see maybe, if you go through them, I could answer your questions as well. We have to work on chewing skills with chewy tubes. If your child is hypersensitive, so he is receiving way too much information from chewing, we still have to work with chewy tubes. But maybe then we have to build up the intensivity of the chewy tubes, meaning that the chewy tube that you are having, maybe it's not enough, maybe it's too soft, maybe it's not anymore under his interest, so he's not really chewing, he's just keeping it on the side. So I'm just going to put an example, okay, because today I don't have my box. Maybe for next time I can get it. If this is my chewy tube, I have to make sure that the child is chewing to the side. All right? If we cannot be putting the chewy tube in front, it's not suggestible because of the front teeth and upper bite. We don't want any damage on the teeth, only on the side. When the child is like, this is a little bit funny, but when the child is kind of, the chewy tube is hanging, like on the side, or the child is not really doing anything with the chewy tube, the fact that he continues chewing on other things, it's meaning that the chewy tube is not enough. It's not doing the job. Okay. Usually, when we have oral sensory seekers, providing a good texture and a good chewy tube, it's going to be enough. So, Flor, I don't know if I answer your question. Let me know if you have other questions, or if you want me to precise on something else. And thank you for asking. So, like I said, working on chewy tubes, working on a vestibular system, working on tactile or whatever, doesn't matter, because we will be always kind of repeating the same. So if the child is very, very sensitive in the hands, which is very important, dear parents and educators, if I have any here, or therapists, it's very important that we stimulate the hands. Our hands have a lot of information that through our touch, through our manipulation with our hands, we can actually create cognitive skills that will help the child to develop better, right? We're going to work on memory, we're going to work on proprioception, we're going to work on tactile, we are going to work on pressure, which is, those skills are very, very, very important for us to be doing actually anything. If you want to open a bag, you need your fine motor skills. If you want to write with a pencil, you need your hands strong. If you want to brush your teeth, whatever, whatever, doesn't matter which example I'm going to put. If you want to hold yourself in a swing, that's more than enough, right? So if I want to hold my swing, if I want to be strong because I want to get better at balancing, we need to work on the hands. So it's very important to always stimulate the hands, always stimulate the tactile. Also, in my practice and the recent, I will say studies shows that hello, yo-yo, shows that children with speech delays, oral motor difficulties, and tactile difficulties have this kind of like a big team. They team up. So most of the time, working. Hi again. Are you in the? No. I am in Malta. Malta is a little cute island close to Italy. So hi to wherever you are watching me. We are from Malta, yes. And so what I wanted to tell you is that whenever you are working on the tactile stimulation, you will definitely improve oral stimulation and prelinguistic skills. So more we get messy, you know, and more we get with our hand, messy with our hand, more we can maybe do some cooking skills, or maybe we can be helping, I don't know, preparing some dishes. Preparing some dishes meaning that I am tolerating the smell, I am maybe activating my paladar, no, and the saliva is created, I have to swallow, maybe I feel like I want to taste it, etc., you know, because you have to understand that through the smell, through our olfactory system, we get a lot of information. If you think about it, for example, if I go in the park or if I'm going, I don't know, outside, no, in the countryside, and I smell a flower, most probably if you smell a particular flower, it will bring you straight away like a picture, like a memory, like I don't know, maybe a reminder, no, of someone who bought you those flowers, and maybe you saw it somewhere, maybe you smell them before in a particular place. So our memory, there is a huge connection between smell and memory. And so this is what I'm saying, exposing our children to cooking skills, exposing our kids to a messy play. Don't hesitate, you know. I know it's messy and sometimes it's not nice because we have to clean a lot and we have to do a lot of things, but exposing the children actually to messy play and exposing kids to messy activities will help them to build up those memories, maybe develop other abilities that we don't see, but they are here, over here. So, hello Pranta Vach, sorry for my pronunciation. My child does not chew, even using chewy tubes or oral massage, and has speech delay and grip problem. Yeah, like I said before, grip problem, hands. So that's, you want to tell me grip problem for the handwriting or anything that has to do with the hands, it involves speech delay in many occasions. Well, Pranta, I will say, in my opinion, that it's very difficult that the child do not chew. You mean that he's not chewing food. So he's not chewing food even though he's using a chewy tube. And when he's using a chewy tube, he knows how to chew. Am I right? I just would like to know the answer right now, but I think there is a little bit of delay. Aha, food not chewing. Okay, so it happens many times. You will have a child who is chewing on chewy tube, and hello to Lamia Vincevic, I think I'm getting there. You will have many situations where the child doesn't chew, he will be chewing the chewy tube, but the food no. So then we have to, and this is where therapy comes forward. And even though I would like to explain you exactly how does it work, but it's difficult because I would need to see your kid. But how we do the transitioning. First, we prepare the child on chewing skills, so the child is chewing the chewy tube properly from molars, okay? We work on molars, we work, and then we start introducing food that he likes, or food that is very, very soft. Sometimes, or the white part of the bread, or maybe sponges, or a sponge, or maybe I don't know, soft biscuits, like super soft, that basically they melt inside of the mouth. So you will start with food that he likes and chewy tube. So imagine, I'm just going to open this for the video. I've got my biscuit that the kid likes, and I've got my chewy tube at the same time, okay? But you have to start introducing food that he likes, not food that he doesn't like. That's not going to work, you know? Most probably he will tell you, not mama, not today. So you have to be careful. Most of the time, if you never tried this, try it. No. Pranta, no. No sugar products. No, whenever we are talking about hyperactivity, but hyperactivity not to do nothing to be with ADHD, okay? Just a child who is a little hyper in our activities in a general basis, we suggest to avoid sugar. Exactly. So your child knows how to chew, but what she decides to chew. So now what we are going to do in order for you to start making her chewing what you want her to chew, we have to start working it as a exercise, not randomly I give you a chewy tube and I give you food. We will try to always focus when we start working more on a serious kind of way. We try to make it as an activity, but like a serious activity. So it's chewing time. We put the chewy tube, we put what she likes, and we chew. Maybe after 15 minutes, 20 minutes in the same day, we can try something that sometimes she likes. So you know that it's not her favorite food, but it's not like a no. And another day or in the same day, you can try the same technique with something that she doesn't like. Okay? It's not easy. It will not come in one time. You know, I would like to share with you, this is a real case. I am following a kid who is now 8, and up to 1 year ago, he wasn't chewing at all. Like we will be eating, but like some solid food and so on. So everything liquidized, so everything was puree. We managed him to chew. Now he's chewing lasagna, pasta, he's eating anything. He's eating sandwiches, he's doing, but you know, it took us time till we managed to give the right proportion and the chewing. The chewing had to be consistent. So the parents were working a lot with the chewing, everything was with the chewy tube, and a lot of chewing. It's important. So even the food that she likes or he liked, for example, my client, we still had to work with the chewing, because chewing skills are, sometimes we think that they are easy and we say you have just to chew this, but it is not that easy as we think. So no. So I suggest you to keep going. Suggestions for grief and suggestion for restlessness. I don't understand the second question, but suggestion for grief, sure. You have different activities. Everything, basically, any activity that involves palmar and pincer grip are good. Don't hesitate to use things that you have at home. For example, pegs, a small ball. You can use a small tennis ball to do massages in the hand. We use brushes. We use I don't know, a rope, pulling, pushing, maybe a little bit games that, you know, with the cushions. Basically, there are different games where you have where we can stimulate the kid to imitate us and follow us, but at the same time work on the palmar grip. For example, if we use a rope or a skipping rope, we can have just pulling, like the tug of war, no? So pulling the rope, you will say like, okay, it's a silly activity, but you're working on the palmar grip. If you think about it, you need to pull, no, the rope, and it's still proprioceptive activity, tactile activity, it's fun. So go for it. With the cushions, no, it's a very easy activity, you get a cushion and it's like, okay, like a fight of cushions, but still the child has to grab the cushion, needs to use the effort, needs to use the pressure. All these type of activities are super good, but mainly small balls where you can squeeze and you can work on the activities, therapeutic potty, activities where you can activate the pincer grip. Those are very, very good. So how to reduce restlessness? I am not quite sure right now. What's that mean? You mean he is having difficulties with sleeping? I just not sure right now. Yes, therapeutic patty, it's very good. Theraband as well, of course. Jasmine Vázquez, hola, buenas tardes o buenas noches, depende donde estemos. Suggestions for I spoke in Spanish because I thought that it's I think it's a Spanish surname, so that's the reason. Suggestion for gagging when introducing new foods. My son is limited to only a handful of food. You can write me in Spanish if you feel like, or if you have maybe other questions, no problem at all. When we are introducing new food, yes, this is a very it's a little bit of a concern, but at the same time it happens a lot. So just give me a second, please, one by one. Happy birthday to the Sour Queens. When we are having gagging reflex, it's first of all, it's a little bit how to say. It's a little bit dangerous, so you have to be very careful how do you introduce the food and how you feel introducing new food and how you react to gagging. Many times the child will be just doing a little bit of gagging and the parents are panicking and the child panics, so the gagging is there and the vomiting appears. So you have to be okay with the fact that the child is having gagging reflex and what will happen after. That's my first suggestion. When you're having a lot of gagging with introduction with new food, I always suggest to, it depends how old is your son or your child. Your son. I would suggest the food never introduce it in front, always from the side. So if you are having the child, if you are feeding the kid, never with the spoon in front because it's too much, no, the food is coming and it's going straight away. So I suggest always to bring the food to the side, from one side or the other. You can reduce the portions. So sometimes by reducing the portions, it doesn't activate that gagging reflex. Sometimes what we are using depends on what is the food that you are giving. We are putting on one side the chewy tube that I spoke before, and from the other side I input the food. So the child is activating the chewing slowly and not thinking that the food is coming down. Because for gagging reflex you have different reasons why you will have the gagging reflex, no? It could be sensory, it could be there is some organs that are not working properly. I will just continue. So it all depends, no, in what is the reason. But you're welcome. Mela, so let me see. He is 8 years old. He doesn't eat anything that needs spoon, only finger food. And even when he's eating finger food, he will be gagging. So even if it's food that he knows, he's sure about it, he will still be gagging. Let me see when you will answer. My word is laughing several times without reason. Hello, Kumar. Well, I'm happy. I don't know if I'm making you have a good time. That's great. Yes, sorry, because I didn't understand what you meant, Pranta. She doesn't stay calm. Yes. Well, yes, restlessness. I understood now because I was like, I was talking about this and my head went somewhere else. When the child are hyper in general, when we are moving a lot, I suggest to have, if you don't have at home, a trampoline, which helps a lot because jumping helps a lot, stimulating vestibular system. Then I would suggest, if not a therapeutic ball, big ball where you can do rocking and you can do jumping, bouncing, and you can be doing tummy time activities. If you have the possibility to go for, little walks, running, maybe introduce the kid for a certain activity or sportive activity, swimming helps a lot. The problem is like when our body asks us, when the child is moving a lot and the child is really looking for that movement, we cannot ask him, please calm down, please stay calm, can you stop it, can you stop, It's useless because the nervous system, our brain, is asking him, it's demanding this input. So, and this is where it's becoming very tiring for parents, educators, and everybody around, because you need to level it up, meaning that if your child is asking, is all the time, jumping and moving and doing this, etc., you have to keep that rhythm and do a bit more in order for him to calm down. That means that if he's like to jump, if he's jumping for 20 minutes and he's okay, maybe we need to jump for 30, 40, 45 minutes for him to actually say, ooh, today I did extra and now I'm tired. I don't know if I'm explaining myself, but most of the time when we are having a kid who is moving around, we need to satisfy those movements. We need to satisfy that sensory system. So that means that we have to provide enough sensory stimulation for him to say, oof, now I need a break. Thank you, Flor. Thank you very much. Jasmine, he only gags with new food. Yes, so that is more normal because I wanted to ask you, that's why I asked you before, if he is gagging only with new food, that's totally normal. And normally it's only at the beginning, but then she will get used to, right? No, sorry, he will get used to. However, for you to prevent that, I will suggest always put the food to the side. If it's a new food that you're introducing, never say, hey, yeah, take it, give it. Try to put it to the side and introduce it from the side. And at the same time, use the chewy tube. If you never tried this technique, try it now. So every time that you are using a new food, try to have your chewy tube. It doesn't matter which chewy tube you have. There is no perfect brand. I work with different brands and all of them are good. So try to have your chewy tube and the food, but to the side, not in front. Okay, try that and see how it goes. For all these recommendations, I will always come back to my best suggestion. It's for you to have an occupational therapist, for you to have a speech therapist, or anyone who is specialist in these areas, okay? Because it's a difficult area, it's not just like we need to change the recipe or we need to dance around the kid. No, you need to work and you need to be consistent and repetitive. Jasmine Vasquez, you are welcome. My pleasure. Kumar, hello ma'am, how are you? We're doing well. That's good. Yes, we are all doing good, and I hope you're doing good as well. Pranta, so I think I answered your question. If not, I'm just going to repeat myself. For children who are hyper and they are seeking for activities, we need to give them a lot of more activities. It's the same happens to the contrary. Children that we were going to have that, you know, they are more hypo, even hypotonia, and they are more like in the sofa or like on the floor, laying down, not super active, we have to expose them. Hyperactivity, usually it's I always say it's I like when we are active, because when we are active we can actually, you know, invent and do a lot of activities. So it's kind of, it's more hard because it's a lot of workout even for yourself, but in my experience, you get always a good benefit. So if you don't have a trampoline at home, or maybe, you know, something more that it's fun, but at the same time that the child can do physical activity, I definitely suggest you to get something. A ball, or, you know, like some stepping stones maybe, so for balancing, or a peanut ball, you know, so something, but definitely. Pranta, being hyper is good. Yes, definitely. I like it because it gives you energy. It is exhausting, but you can push that, you know, and you can, at the end, you know, most of the time, my kids, after the 1 hour session, they end up super sleepy in the car. So it's good. Physical activity is good. Exposure to different sensory activities, it's great. So we just have to go for it. Floor, hypum is more dangerous. Gymnastics, yes. Like, you know, hypo, I will just say it's a little bit more complicated because we have to do a more we have to really do way more work, but it's still manageable. We just have to be there active, you know. It's very important. We have to be there to support our kid, you know, to support him in the many ways. I always suggest you to find maybe that activity that the child likes, or maybe there is a sport or something that he or she is very good at. So we continue pushing and we continue simulating. It's very important. Yes. Okay, super. So this was fantastic. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for connecting. I am, one more time, I am an occupational therapist and I'm here to serve. So I will be connecting every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. Europe time, because like I said, we are in Malta. And I hope to chat with you more, okay? Prepare your questions, whatever you need, whatever you want. As much as I can, I will try to do my best to answer your questions. Yes, thank you very much, Penta. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Okay? You're very welcome. It was a pleasure. Have a wonderful day, evening, night, wherever we are. Bye. I will be seeing you next week.